Hit Season 2.
And there's a rematch in the ace match. Whatever happened in the previous match usually repeats itself, and we've seen this time and time again in Pro League.
Happened yesterday.
It's not that crazy to imagine that someone who won earlier would win again, and that's kind of like something it's just this weird abstract idea. But I mean, there's like reasoning to back it up as to why it happens, and that's one of the reasons why I personally would not like to see Super Play get Zest. I'd like to see someone else, give it a shot.
So yeah, maybe it would be curious if it got down to it. Maybe your original thought was correct, because I don't think aLive is favored there. I think it would take a lot of supers, like kind of But curious is like, oh my God, someone just broke their chair. That happens from time to time here at Pro League as well.
I mean, he's like not even overweight. I don't know. The chair just wasn't doing its job.
I think he just sat down at a funny angle and it like slipped out from under him, and the leg just couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
happens sometimes.
That chair is fired, man.
Yeah. His friend is like dying laughing. He's like on the floor. Anyway, we're going to jump into game number 4. Losira versus aLive. Losira, he did take his first win of the 2016 season of Pro League. Just a couple of weeks ago, I believe.
Now, you might be wondering why these two have so much history together. It's because they're two ESF players from the old times before Casbah, long before you were born.
Long time ago.
This was the beginning of Starcraft 2. There was a lot of times these guys would hit each other, especially because they were not on the same team.
Taste. The base Taste. He doesn't care about what the rest of us are doing. This is the first time we haven't had a 7-0 too. He's going to be the only one that does vote for Losira here. aLive, you can tell he's feeling the pressure.
It's all up to him, man.
Yeah, we're going to go into game number 4, aLive versus Losira. Up here in the top left in the red, it is Losira.
And to the bottom right in purple, it is aLive. I'm actually, to be honest, a bit surprised the vote was so one-sided for aLive. I have a lot of confidence in him, but no one really has for a long time on the Korean side of the casters, I feel. And I think, to be totally honest, to be totally real with all of you out there, obviously the Korean commentators were focused on Brood War. In fact, Kanata was playing Brood War for many, many years, even in like somewhat contemporary Brood War. So I don't know if they really know aLive's history and know how good he can be at his full potential. And for a while, no one was really having faith, but finally, he gets the respect of the Korean commentators here in this vote. We've actually seen these two, now that I think about it, play against each other multiple times in Pro League. As more people are talking about Zest's birthday, I'm like, yeah, you had your time. But
applause. You must clap. Anyway, continue.
The last game I can remember between these two specifically was on a map. It was not Neoplanet S, but it was a map that was like that. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like Losira did a Roach all-in, and aLive did a Marauder Hellion timing, and it was like they just collided in the middle map with these two all-ins. And that was back in the time where both players were doing very poorly on their respective teams. But now I feel like they're both really on the rise, and we're going to see a more normal game here between the two of them. No like crazy all-in versus all-in, cheesy, who knows what's going to happen, two Rams smashing their heads together in the middle of the map kind of build.
Yeah, at least not yet. We'll see if Losira wants to turn up the heat here in a bit. He has been known to be one of those players that can get very aggressive. He's known for his, sitting up real close to the monitor, leaning in, looking very scary, and also his very high APM, his fast hands.
Yeah.
So, a very, very fun player to watch for sure.
He is getting speed already. Not a crazy thing to see this early on, but he's not going to play this super grid. He's also committing to 6 slings, which is kind of the norm on a 2-player map, just because the Reaper is going to be there, and sometimes you can shut it down right at the beginning. If you have 6 and you get him on creep, it's not going to happen though. The grenade makes it a lot tougher to kill the Reaper as well. He saves both drones for now. Looks like he will get a link kill. Not even. Both players controlling this incredibly well. Finally gets that Ling.
Yep, and all the fun is stopped once Mama Queen comes out of the hatch and says, knock it off.
No more Reapers jumping on the bed. So, the Overlord's going to get pushed away, but it won't matter in a little while here. If with the nice catch.
Wow, very nicely done. Before speed, that is very hard to pull off.
This Overlord, if killed, can't scout the main base as easily, but with 2 Overlords still alive and the Overlord speed that Losira commits to, he should be able to get a full scout of that 3rd base, despite the fact that aLive wanted to keep it a secret. And
gonna get to work here on the back rocks of his natural. The debris. Gotta clear up that debris.
Yeah, man. Clear that. It's important. This Overlord will scout, of course. He already knows the timings based on the switcheroo you just saw there, what's going on.
Yeah.
He might have even just barely gotten vision of that CC. But Losira is playing really safe, but he still gets the information. When you play this safe, it's hard to punish greed, though. You can punish all-ins and timing attacks and, like, you know, Banshee play or Liberator pushes, which are all very weak right now with the Queen buff. But, you know, when you scout greed like this, you kind of just have to get greedy yourself in response. He's going to get a Baneling Nest. He is making 8 more links. Let's see if he actually is going to go aggressive, as we saw Curious do in game number 1, based on the scouting on TY.
And this is just what Losira does sometimes. We'll see if he heavily commits. No, it looks like he's going to make 2 more drones, so he is going to transition after this. Just wants to put on a bit of pressure or just be very safe again, you know, because he knows the Terran push is going to come sometime soon, some kind of harass. So he's going to need units soon to deal with that.
Yeah, now that the Liberators are pretty neutered in this matchup right now in the harassment sense, the hardest timing to defend is this one. You know, the pressure that comes out. Sometimes with 2 medevacs, it's not a greedy 3rd CC, but if you actually defend this part, it gets a lot easier for you. And a lot of Zergs are of the mindset that if you just survive for, wow, 6 drops.
What?
He's doing a mass drop. I was going to say, some Zergs are of the mindset that, like, if you survive, you just win because you get ultras, but he's not trying to survive. He wants to end this with a crazy drop play. When the Evolution Chamber came down, I was like, yeah, we'll definitely see some Baneling drops, but I didn't expect this type of mass drop all in. He's even bringing Queens back from home. He has Overlord speed. Droverlords, let's see, aLive still doesn't see him yet. He's got a wall here, but he's going to drop on top.
There's only 1 Viking here. It's not going to be enough to hold off all of this.
Here we go. Let's see. Afreeca needs to win this game to go to the playoffs. And he has to survive. aLive somehow has to survive. Good reaction here on the tank. Keeps it alive. Keeps the wall up, but he needs to keep moving back. SCV is coming off the line here. He needs to make sure this tank survives.
Here come the Banelings, and they kill 11 SCVs. They aren't really killing a lot of this army, but look at the SCVs. They're all alone. Could sustain some massive damage here.
Siege tanks, though, 2 of them survive. One's being repaired right now. There's a second wave. Mule's getting dropped here. 1 tank goes down. The second one lives. He has a bunker at the natural, and Vikings are eventually pushing these Overlords back. A Queen drop coming in. Probably not going to happen. He does deter it for the time being. Widowmine drop coming over here as well to kind of help defend from the front lines. Here come the Queens. He's going to commit.
I thought those were Banelings. They're actually Queens getting up in here.
And they have, you know, better range. They're going to help take out these medevacs, and they're keeping the tanks alive. And this bunker going to go down as well.
4 Queens trying to snipe that medevac, and with that range, as we were talking about, he needs to get under there. Oh, he loses all 4 Queens.
I think aLive holds. He survives here. He survives. He has triple CCs. By the way, all those mules we saw drop earlier were at the 3rd base. He's been mining from a whole base that Losira has not touched for this entire time. He has 3-base economy. He can rebuild his SCV count. With those triple CCs, he's about to have 1-1 upgrades as well. Losira did a ton of damage, and I think this game might kind of normalize from here from both parties. Losira has the better drone count, but with triple mules, aLive can turn this around on a dime. He also has 1-1 upgrades for the follow-up push. However, he does not have stim. So attacking with 1-1, it's like he has that going for him, but he doesn't have stim, so it's not as effective.
He's going to have to wait for sure. Wow, what a fiery start. This is what I was talking about. Sometimes Losira just goes crazy. He's like, I guess I just have to try to kill him, even though he didn't technically have to. Ooh, nice micro here on the Liberator. Nice try by Losira.
Queen's like, oh, now I gotta walk home, and I'm a queen. Why you do this to me?
My knees hurt, my back hurts, everything hurts. Look at how slow she walks.
This is just a funny situation. No matter which way you'll get.
Our poor queen, though. Oh, can she be saved? No. Can the tank be saved? Yes, but he doesn't decide to.
He's microing his Liberator, meanwhile. Gets 4 kills for a tank. Probably should have microed the tank. Okay, the Banelings went for a harass attempt at the third base. They fail, and the Ling run by fails as well. Losira doesn't know. He can't know for sure that Stim isn't done. If he did, he might be a little bit more aggressive here with the Lings he had on the map, but instead he kind of tried to do a run by that, failed. He's going to target this Overlord down because he probably thinks there's Pains in it because it's a good Overlord, but it's not. And aLive is even up the supply. He is getting the SCV count up to 35 here. He's going to have Stim, and Losira needs to get Baneling speed the second layer finishes if he wants to hold the follow-up attack. This just might not even be possible. I don't know if he'll be able to get it in time. He has the attack upgrade, but he's down the armor. Yeah,
this is so many Marines. Marines have the highest DPS in the game, right? I mean, like, that is just a huge amount. Let me see. He's actually at 28 in that group. This is a nice little run by, coming to the third base, do a bit of damage, stop some mining.
With the bunker here, though, it's not going to be worth it at the end of the day. It stops mining, as you mentioned, but it's not going to stop this push. Baneling speed is on the way, and he did destroy these rocks. He just needs to somehow buy time to get that Baneling speed out, or to get enough Banelings to hold this off. There's no combat shields either, which is more important, really, than the +1 armor that aLive has. He may be able to hold this off with good Baneling connects.
It's going to be really, really hard, though. He's only got 9 Banelings, and they're slow. Here we go, trying to run in. Nice focus fire. He kills all the Banelings and everything in front of it.
And it looks like aLive is going to take this game. Down go the Queens. GG! Afreeca bringing it to the ace match here, keeping their chances alive. No pun intended, as back at home, the MVP team shakes in fear, knowing that this final match, if KT cannot take it, they will not make it to the top 4.
Look at aLive's face. He doesn't even look relieved. He still looks nervous, and that kind of says to me that he may be coming out here in the ace match. Losira, the second he lost that game, the second he GG'd, he threw off his headset. He wanted that win really badly, and he was so close. He did so much damage to the SCVs in particular, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, he couldn't kill the siege tanks. His Queen Overlord drop was a great idea, but it came, I feel, a little bit too late, and he didn't drop it off quickly enough. The siege tanks really saved aLive there, as well as his quick decision-making, his very excellent micro. And beyond all of that, the mule drops at the third base. That third base that he landed and just kept mining with mules and a few SCVs. That kept his economy up to keep making units to hold off the push, to get those extra Vikings out. He sniped the Overlord that had the 4 Queens. That was also a huge moment.
Huge.
And from there, he just had like the tech advantage. Losira had the economy advantage, but he couldn't buy enough time to make that valuable, and he died to the push. He had a late layer, his Baneling speed wasn't ready, and he had to take that fight. If he didn't take the fight, he was going to lose his natural, lose the game anyways. But guys, it's time for the ace match. The map is Dust Towers.
Dust Towers.
Or no, sorry, no, it's Overgrowth.
I'm like, we already saw that map. Yeah. I'm not going to look. I don't want to be spoiled because it's probably going to be Zest. But who's it going to be for Afreeca?
There's so many players that can be Curious, Super, aLive, all players that are great choices here.
What if they just threw out Bomber? They're like, Bomber, you've got a huge amount. You're a veteran. You're the oldest guy in this team. You have a huge amount of experience. Why don't you give it a shot? I don't think it would, necessarily work out too well. It's going to be hard for anyone on Afreeca, to be honest, to come out here and win this game. But so much on the line. They pushed it to the ace match.
This is it, man. Yeah. It all comes down to this. The lights are down in the studio. It's time for the reveal. The ace players, Losira versus Curious. Overgrowth. Or sorry, not Losira, Lenog.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Losira.
A CVC in this day and age. Here we go, guys. What an interesting pick. I don't know that I agree with this for KT.
And it's not the Zerg that you might have expected, because we saw Losira earlier. There's another L Zerg, which threw me out there. But yes, it is in fact Lenog. Sorry for misspeaking earlier, but Curious was used in the previous ace match I expected him to come out again tonight.
Yeah, and you were exactly right. It was your first thought, and after going through it, when we had that time, you know, we eventually came to the decision that that was actually going to be the pick, and it makes sense. Listen, Lena also is a great ZVZ player, so that's a cool